Ourselves some Week 11 OFL football. The 6-3 red-hot Arizona Cardinals set to take on the also 6-3 New Orleans Saints in a game that has lots of playoff implications in the ONFC, as Le'Veon Bell with a nasty stiff arm. Next play, Dwayne Haskins, might as well call him Kim Jong-un because he's launching nukes, connecting with Noah Fant for a Saint touchdown, the rookie-to-rookie connection, and they would take a 7-0 lead. Here's another rookie quarterback from the Big Ten, Clayton Thorson, leading Arizona's offense is Thorson for A.J. Green, and he just mossed Jair Alexander. What a catch by the former Georgia Bulldog. I don't know what Alexander has to say about that one. 2nd down and 6 is Thorson over to Double D. Westbrook for a 1st down. Now 3rd down and 8. Clayton Thorson up the middle for A.J. Green, who is stopped short. And that would lead to an Arizona field goal, making the score 7-3. Saints have it at the 11. Not much time left in the half. As Dwayne Haskins, he will roll out and he will go out, finding Odell Beckham Jr. for the New Orleans touchdown. Waiting for him to do a funky dance, and he kind of did one. I guess that's a decent touchdown celebration. 6.9 out of 10. Only a 6.9. Nothing more, nothing less. 35 seconds left in the half. A.J. Green more wide open than a Burger King drive-thru at 5:30 in the morning as he was burning down that field. I don't know how Jair Alexander didn't catch up to him sooner. 3rd down and 5. Big sack for Myles Garrett, the former Cleveland Brown. Here is the Arizona field goal unit as time expires, making it an 8-point game headed into the second half. There's the holder, Drew Lock, who was benched last week and did not get the start this week. 3rd down and 10 now as Clayton Thorson under pressure, and he'd be sacked, and he would lose the football as Myles Garrett going downstairs where daddy hides the vodka. Saints would get it back as Dwayne Haskins, he would go down the field for Odell Beckham, solid gain of 16 yards. Then, on the 16, 1st down as Dwayne Haskins, plenty of time, has the end zone for DJ Moore, but we have a penalty flag on the play, holding on the rookie offensive tackle Greg Little. What a down season it has been for Little, but he's only a rookie. He has time to develop. 3rd down and 17, Haskins under pressure, and he'd be sacked by Nick Bosa, moving them out of field goal range. Big stop for Arizona as the number 1 overall pick of the 2019 OFL draft, making the play. Nice throw from Thorson, moving the chains. 2:07 left to go as Clayton Thorson looking to throw it, going down the field for Damian Williams, the former Saint. He gains 42 yards, and the Cardinals bringing at the 4. Trying to come back. Can they do it? 1st down for Arizona as Clayton Thorson, he would lose the football. That's Myles Garrett with his 3rd sack of the game. Now it's 3rd and goal. Arizona's going to need a big play, and they would get a big play, but it's not by the right team. Jair Alexander gets vengeance for getting mossed by A.J. Green, and by A.J. Green just running right by him like it's nothing, as Alexander gets the pick 6, likely icing this game away for New Orleans 24-6. But why not add some extra salt to the wound? You can't spell intercepted without the D. That's Devin White, the rookie from LSU, with the pick. And that's how this game would end. Dwayne Haskins only threw 1 incomplete pass all day. Arizona ran for 9 whole yards. Wow. That's how this one would end. Saints win it 24-6. That is how this game ends. Big win for the New Orleans Saints as Dwayne Haskins goes absolutely off. 94% completion, 2 touchdown passes. He played really well. Clayton Thorson was pretty solid up until the end where he threw 2 picks. Running the ball, Le'Veon Bell had a good day. Leonard Fournette was non-existent. Receiving, A.J. Green had some nice plays. Odell was decent. Outside of that, Stephon Diggs was pretty quiet. I believe he only had 1 catch. Blocking, Mike McGlinchey was not good. He allowed 3 sacks. Myles Garrett had a very good game. 9 tackles for Mason Foster, 6 for Myles Garrett. 3 sacks for Garrett, of course. 1 for Nick Bosa. And then an interception, which was taken to the house by Jair Alexander. And then Devin White also had 1. Let's check out what happened around the league, starting in Motown. Vikings taking on the Lions, and the Detroit Lions get a win 35-17. The first loss for Minnesota under head coach Jake Pride as he loses to his former team. Looking at the stats on the game, Jared Goff was very good. Andrew Luck, like usual in the sim, was not. Running the ball, Isaiah Crowell, Duke Johnson, Jordan Howard all scored. Receiving the ball, 3 touchdowns for Jordan Howard, 100 yards for Crowell. So big game for the backup running back. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed from Terran Armstead, 1 for TJ Lang. 11 tackles from Manti Te'o, 7 for Christian Kirksey. 2 sacks for Michael Bennett, 1 for Ryan Kerrigan and Benny Logan. Interceptions, 1 for Ryan Smith and Jimmy Ward. The inconsistent Patriots get blanked 17-0 by the Philadelphia Eagles. As Tyree Jackson does not have a good game. Kirk Cousins, solid but not outstanding. Running the ball, David Johnson was very solid, getting 100 yards. Josh Jacobs with that awful yards per carry. I don't know if it's been worse yet this year, and that says something. Receiving the ball, Julius Thomas with a solid game. Eric Decker with a 72-yard touchdown reception. And that's about it. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed by Anthony Costanzo, 1 for Ryan Schrader and Josh Sitton. 12 tackles for Jordan Willis. Highest for the Eagles was Avery Williamson with 5 sacks. 2 for Jordan Willis, 1 for Malik Jackson and Vontaze Burfict. Interceptions, 1 for Chidobe Awuzie and 1 for Eli Apple. The Steelers improved to 8-2, beating the Ravens by a score of 20-9. Baltimore goes down to 2-8, and I just think they have to focus on tanking the rest of the year. Aaron Rodgers, not a crazy statistical game, but was still solid. RG3 was meh. Running the ball, Darius Geis decent. Spencer Ware touchdown. Nothing from Sony Michel. Receiving wise, solid game for Greg Olsen, and that's about it. Quiet performance from Juju. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed by Spencer Drango and Ross Pierschbacher. 1 for Jack Conklin and Jamon Brown. 10 tackles for Tavon Wilson. The leader for the Steelers was Demetrius Cox with 6. 2 sacks for Rameek Wilson. 1 for Fletcher Cox. Or 1.5 for Fletcher Cox. 1 for Taco Charlton. Have a sack for Daniil Hunter, Rashawn Golden, and Sean Lee. Interceptions, there were none. The Panthers' non-losing streak comes to an end as they get bested by the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-14. Panthers are now 4-5-1 as Wes Lunt, after winning NFC Offensive Player of the Week, followed up with a very meh performance. Derek Carr could have been a lot better for Jacksonville. Running the ball, Jay Ajayi, low yards per carry. Same can be said for Kareem Hunt, but he did get in the end zone twice. Receiving, solid game from DeAndre Hopkins. Touchdown for the former Lion, Bruce Ellington. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed from Jonah Williams. 10 tackles for Sua Cravens, 9 for Jamal Adams, sack for Terrell Basham, Sheldon Rankins, and Stephon Tuitt. Interceptions, 1 for Jamal Adams, Marlon Humphrey, and Bam Bam Cam Chancellor. The Oakland Raiders defeat the Indianapolis Colts 35-30. I believe Indy only has 3 wins on the season. Statistically, Marcus Mariota with a decent game. Mitchell Trubisky, 3 touchdowns, but he also threw 3 interceptions. Running the ball, Chris Ivory with a touchdown. Todd Gurley was quiet for his standards. Receiving, solid game from Seth Roberts. Touchdown for Travis Benjamin, as well as Cooper Kupp and Terrence Williams and Tommy Sweeney. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed from Orlando Brown. 1 for Justin Britt, Alex Bars, Lane Johnson, and Taylor Decker. 9 tackles for Von Miller. Sacks, 2 for Jamie Collins, 1.5 for Von Miller, 1 for Melvin Ingram, 1 for J.J. Watt, and half a sack for Nick Perry. Interceptions, 1 for Melvin Ingram, 1 for Jabril Peppers, and 1 for Marcus Williams, as well as Kevin King. The Washington Redskins go down 17-10 to the Buffalo Bills. C.J. Beathard with a poor performance. I'm pretty sure Lewerke should come back soon from his injury. Cam Newton, solid. Actually, that completion percentage doesn't sound solid. Carlos Hyde with a touchdown. That's pretty much it in the running game. Receiving wise, big night for Julian Edelman. Ryan Grant with a score as well. Blocking, sacks were allowed by Travis Frederick, Charles Leno, and Tariq Cole. Leader tackles for Washington was Xavier Rhodes with 7. Sacks, 1 for Tony Jefferson, Ryan Anderson, half a sack for Michael Brockers, and Jason Pierre-Paul. Interceptions, 1 for Tony Jefferson and Leighton Vander Esch. A bunch of users are losing this week, and the streak will continue as the Texans lose 24-17 in a battle versus the AFC South rival Titans. Nice game from Chosen Rosen. Big Ben with a pretty inefficient game. Yes, very inefficient. That's a horrible completion percentage. Gio Bernard was decent. Touchdown for Kerwin Williams. Receiving, nice game from Emmanuel Sanders. He scored. Antonio Brown also scored. Mr. Big Chest, along with Danny Amendola and Keelan Cole. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed by Brian Bulaga, 1 for Vladimir DeCasse and Joe Staley. Leader in tackles for Houston with Jalen Ramsey with 8 sacks. 2 for O'Shane. I'm never going to get his last name right. Whenever I have to say it in mock drafts, it's always a ton of fun. 1 for Junior Gillette and Navarro Bowman. Interceptions, 1 for Nickel Roby-Coleman and Levante David. The Cleveland Browns go down to 8-2 as they lose to the Bengals 35-17 in an upset. Big game from Nick Foles, throwing 4 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett did not play very well. Running the ball, Samaje Perine with a touchdown, but really not much from any of these running backs. I saw a good yards per carry for Christian McCaffrey, though. I think that said over 6. Marquise Lee, pretty good for Cleveland. Keenan Allen, Charles Clay, Adam Humphries, Martavis Bryant, Christian McCaffrey, Zach Miller, and J.J. Nelson all score receiving touchdowns. She whiz. Sacks, 1 allowed by Joey Hunt. Who the hell is that? And then 1 for Nate Herbig. 11 tackles for Mark Barron. Sacks, 1 for Jalen Ferguson. Darius Leonard have a sack for Alex Anzalone and Chris Jones. Interceptions, 1 for Derek Kendrick and Ken Crawley. The Los Angeles Rams defeat the Chicago Bears 21-14 in a battle of 2 users in the NFC, both contending for the playoffs, as both teams only have 3 losses now. Lamar Jackson, not an insane performance, but he was solid. Jimmy Garoppolo played very well for the Chicago Bears. He did throw 49 passes, which is a lot. Running the ball, Melvin Gordon, decent. Tevin Coleman, quiet performance. I know he's had a really good season. Receiving, Mark Andrews, phenomenal. 11 catches, 109 yards and a touchdown. Tevin Coleman, good in the receiving game. Paris Campbell, decent for the Rams as he scored a touchdown. Blocking, 3 sacks allowed by Cody Ford, the rookie. 1 allowed by Rodney Hudson, Jack Mewhort, and the new acquisition, Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. On defense, Xavier Woods led the Rams with 9 tackles. For the Bears, it was Aaron Lynch and Tony Lippett with 7 apiece. Sacks, 2 for Draymond Jones, 1.5 for Joey Bosa, 1 for Quan Alexander. Have a sack for the Honey Badger. Interceptions, there were none. And the final user game, we're going to be looking at the Packers and the Giants. The Packers have lost back-to-back games in heartbreaking fashion. This time that doesn't happen. They get the win 23-20 against New York. Baker Mayfield, not with a great performance. Sam Darnold, okay. Both of their completion percentages are ugly. Running the ball, Alvin Kamara, pretty good. Saquon Barkley with a touchdown. Receiving-wise, Brandon Cooks was solid. TJ Jones, pretty good for the Giants. Robbie Anderson with a touchdown. I totally forgot his name for a second. I don't know why. Sacks, 2 allowed by Jake Matthews, 1 by Rick Wagner, Zach Fulton, and Alec Eberle, as well as Deion Dawkins. Looks like the Packers pass rush was very good. 12 tackles for Earl Thomas, leading the Giants, 6 for Blake Martinez. Sacks, 1.5 for Ja'Kai Polite, 1 for John Simon, Blake Martinez, Jared Davis, Geno Atkins, who's on the Packers. I thought he was on the Ravens. Well, 1 for Shaq Lawson and half a sack for Monte Nicholson. Interceptions, 1 for Casey Hayward, 1 for Jaquiski Pop-Tart, and then 1 for Kareem Jackson. The Atlanta Falcons beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 24-17. The Bucs are no longer users since the coach left the Discord server today for whatever reason. So I guess that user losing streak is technically over. The Falcons are a user. They get the win. They actually agreed to a deal today with Baltimore, which would send Geno Atkins to Atlanta. But the thing is, Geno Atkins is on the Packers, which makes this whole situation kind of funny. Carson Wentz, very good performance, 401 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Will Grier with an okay day. Running the ball, Devontae Freeman, 89 yards and a touchdown. Can't really go wrong with that. That's about it. Receiving, Julio Jones, solid game, 998 in the score. John Ross was pretty good. Devontae Freeman, Jerick McKinnon also with touchdowns. Blocking, 2 sacks allowed by Lyle Collins, 1 from Brandon Parker. Leader in tackles for Atlanta was Deion Jones with 9 sacks, 1.5 for Khalil Mack, 1 for Frank Clark. Have a sack for Grady Jarrett. Interceptions, 1 for Deion Jones and Josh Jones.